Yeah, all good, Jiva.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining Dynamics 365 Power Platform, Copilot and AI user group. So today myself and Dharani are here along with Rakesh. So join again. Thanks again wherever you're joining from. So it's been a while since we had a monthly meetup, and then from this month onwards we're gonna have a regular monthly meetup. So we are gonna do this same format where we're gonna do the live stream going forward instead of using Teams. So stay tuned and watch. Make sure you watch, follow the our meetup user group and also WhatsApp group to stay updated with the updates. So we'll just drop the link of the WhatsApp and also the meetup if you're not already part of that. And without further ado, I'll pass it to Dharani for quick bits.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jiva, for the warm introduction. As Jiva mentioned, like myself, Dharani Dharan Balasubramaniam, I'm also like one of the co-organizer of the Tamil Nadu Dynamics 365 Power Platform and the Copilot user group session. The main objective of this user group, like why we built this user group, is for everyone like who is passionate about the Dynamics 365 Power Platform and the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So this is the space like where the people can collaborate and learn, share their knowledge, and they can stay connected with the latest trends in the BizApps and the AI side. So that's the main motive, like we have started this one. So our group, like we focus on bringing the light-minded people together in practical the meetup style format every month, featuring experts from the BizApp side, MVPs, MCTs, and the Microsoft people who actively like work on the real world scenarios. So we started this community with mainly with three goals. One is to bring the like-minded people together, and second is to like help the people to upskill themselves and also to get the certification on the Microsoft technologies, and also to create a fun like while collaboratively learning things together. Yeah. So with that, I'm very happy to introduce Rakesh, today's speaker, Rakesh Darke. He is a Microsoft MVP, MCT, and one of the leading voices in the BizApps community side. So Rakesh has an extensive hands-on experience on Dynamics 365 Power Platform and the Copilot Studio as well. And today, like he'll be presenting on a very exciting topic, AI-powered order to cash unlocking efficiency with the Copilot. So without further delay, I'll pass it to Rakesh. Over to you, Rakesh.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dharni. Thank you, Jiva, for having me there. First of all, I would like to apologize for our previous date and time. For some valid reason, we could not able to connect on 22nd of November, and that is where we gathered today. So, as described by Dharni just now, the topic of today's session would be understand the order to cash end-to-end process and try to see how best we can unlock or the rather increase the efficiency of the business users with the help of the Copilot Studio agents. Okay. In this next 50 or 55 minute or so, I will try to spend more time on the topic of order to cash, where I will start a journey with the end-to-end process of order to cash. We will also talk about the one of the business scenario where this agents comes into picture and how it will help human to interact more naturally and try to help the sales personas to try to automate some of the mundane tasks. Okay, so we will start with the agenda today, where first topic would be agenda, where talk about what are the agents and why now, why not in the past. I will talk about more on that. Then we will also talk about couple of the stages of the AI transformation that recent past couple of if not years in days that we have started seeing predominantly in the Microsoft Dynamics 365 ERP world. Then we will also talk about more on the Copilot versus agent, where a couple of folks are sometimes get some sort of get into a discussion that there is a thin line between Copilot and agents, where I'll spend some time to walk you through the agent's capability and what the agents versus the Copilot. And then, as I mentioned earlier, that we will talk about order to cash process. One of the prerequisites for this presentation would be that at least you should have a basic understanding of order to cash process. If not Dynamic 365 ERP, or if you're not part of any hands-on experience, fair point. And if you're coming from a different ERP background, which is SAP Oracle, or for that matter, Ramco, at least try to understand how the ERP world is going on. It is no more just a system of transaction entry. It is more on the automation process where the transactions are more and more being created by agents, keeping human in the loop. Then we will also talk about a couple of first party agents that Microsoft has shipped, but I will not spend more time on that. Rather, I will talk more on the sales order to cash process, where we will see the sales order processing agents and how you can leverage that agent for your customers and for your learning, and how you can extend it further. That portion also we will try to see that. In terms of me, I lead the customer success architect team within TCS here in Mumbai. I began my career almost 24 years ago, where I was playing a role of a developer in the program called VC++, which is nothing but Visual C++. And parallelly, I start getting into the world of ERP, and that is where back in 2005, I got a first hands-on experience with Dynamic 365 ERP. And those days we used to call it Accepta 3.0. I've been work mostly almost all the industries so far, right from manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, telecommunications, and retail. I did close to 20 plus implementation of the ERP across multiple regions, multiple countries, whether it's a region, specific local region, or whether it's a global companies. I'm also a founder and the leader of one of the user group like Jiva and Dharni is pursuing right now, which is nothing but Mumbai, India, Dynamics 365 and Power Platform community. I'm also a lifelong learner, blogger, and YouTuber. I try to write a blog on the key aspects that every person day to day faces any challenges with the implementation journey of Dynamics 365 ERP. Often I'm going to use Dynamics 365 ERP, sometimes finance and supply chain operations, sometimes finance and operation, right? It's just a change in the terminology. However, we are talking about Dynamics 365 ERP only. Now let's talk about the first topic. We will run through this slide maybe and then maybe 10-15 minutes or so, just to set the ground and keep you informed in terms of why we are having this presentation, why we are talking about agents today, right? So first and foremost, the first question comes to our mind: what are the agents, right? So when it comes to the agent, the name itself is, if you understand, indicates everything that something is happening or something is running in the background, keeping the business in the loop, right? It means the persona that is responsible, whether it's a finance side, whether it's a supply chain side, they are keeping in the loop, and the entire business process workflow and the activity that is being managed by agent, right? It means what? It based on the anatomy which consists of your knowledge. So whatever knowledge in terms of the digital information that you have, in terms of the activity the human personas perform in a day-to-day basis, that can be fully automated with the help of these large language models, which we call as a foundational model, right? And that's where the agents comes into picture, which autonomously works in the background and try to automate and rather executes the business process seamlessly, right? But then again, question comes into picture: why now? Because you might have seen that we have seen plenty of everyday new changes coming from Microsoft product team, where they talk about its world of AI first, then the mobile first, right? So that's where fully autonomous agents comes into picture, which actually simplifies the journey of any personas that work in the organization, predominantly the Dynamics 365 ERP. And why AI agents don't just assist as per the Gartner report 2024, because the Gartner believes that AI agents will define the next frontier of the enterprise automations, because when they did the analysis, they got to know this large language model, right, which is very good in terms of predicting the next step of the statement that you're putting and tokenizing, and then helping you to generate the outcome. That's where the more and more power that is coming from the large language model and helping business processes to automate you know the entire journey. And but obviously it drives the real business impact, so that human can spend more time on the strategic decision rather than spending time to passing a data entry into the any ERP application. Now, in terms of the stages of AI, those who are following the trend of the AI and those who are actually working hard on the AI, they probably would have seen that there are 4 stages of AI that we have seen, right? Right from the human first, where every person is augmented by AI that understand their job rights, and that's where we as a human started learning how the autonomous activity will help us, whether it's a custom process that has been built inside the AI or whether it's a fully rule-based engine that we have inside the ERP. In the next level 2, every team includes the AI agents that actually completes the works autonomously. That's where last 1 year or so we started interacting. We means as a human, we started interacting with the agents, and we are trying to allocating all day-to-day mundane tasks to the agent so that we can focus on more activity, right? And now in the level 3, which is the AI agents runs the entire spectrum of your day-to-day activity, and human can just overseeing and managing the activity. So those who have probably seen the last week highlights from Microsoft, predominantly on the Ignite side and predominantly again in the area of the Dynamics 365. Most of the people might have seen the demo from Jared Hall, where he talked about how this model context protocol server for Dynamics 365 ERP helping business users to autonomously start focusing on creating a sales order, creating a purchase orders, so on and so forth. Right? That is where we are living into the era of this level 3, which is nothing but the AI agents that runs the entire system, keeping human and overseeing and managing. There is the next still level, which is level 4, where the agent first with the human oversight, which is all the departments, all the functions operating autonomously without regular oversighting. It means what? In the level 3, probably would have seen, right? Any agents that we deploy here in the Copilot Studio app, every agent is going to be interacted more and more seamlessly. For an example, if I build an agent which needs to interact with the Dynamics 365 data, it does not mean that I, as a business user, always, logging into the financial operation app or maybe logging into any sort of thing, right? I can simply deploy that agent to a Teams app, right? That is where each and every business persona from a different departments or functions start operating autonomously without regular oversight. Although we are not there yet, but the kind of a progress that we are seeing in the industry across the spectrum of entire Dynamics 365 app family product, we are seeing that it is the days are very little that we will reach to a level 4 very soon. Now, I just wanted to touch base on this particular slide, which is nothing but the core differences between the Copilot and the agents. I'm pretty sure most of you started playing with the Copilot and the agents. But first and foremost, when it comes to the Copilot, which is nothing but your personal human augmentation, whether it's a Copilot from an Edge browser, whether it's a Copilot from any M365 app, or whether it's a sidecar experience that comes with the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation app, which is nothing but personal human augmentation. What it means that you will start interacting to the Copilot by passing a message, by passing your queries and the questions, and based on with the help of the large language model, it tries to help you to address your questions and a query. It means it is a personal private assistant for business users start interacting with and ease out their day-to-day activity rather than navigating into the multiple number of clicks within the ERP and try to figure out what that value that I'm looking for, what that information that I'm looking for, whether it's a report or a UI, anything, right? And that therefore it is actually having people one is to one correlation and with the Copilot. Whereas in the agents is completely the opposite, I would say, which is autonomous expert system, as I mentioned in the previous slide, which is going to be autonomously start focusing on the some of the mundane tasks in the background. What it means that you can define your business process workflow. We will see in action towards the demo that we will get into that. It means that the expert system will understand what human requires. It understands the trigger point. It also understands the subjects that it's supposed to read the information, supposed to act on behalf of human, right? That is where the autonomous expert system, which is nothing but agents, it can work for a process or it can work for a company. What it means that it has a scale that you can define end-to-end business processes right from beginning until end, or you can define that particular thing for across your company as well. It means it is not having one-to-one relationship with the people, rather it is having people having a relationship 1:n. It means you can have n number of agents, whether it's a main agent, whether it's a sub agent. You can automate any sort of information that you need to be automated. Now, since we talk about today's topic, which is order to cash, and now we understood what is a Copilot and the agents, why we need it now, what is going to help, in order to achieve some of the aspect that business users require, right? So, in today's topic, where we talk about the order to cash process, right? So, you can read the slide from your left to right, which is any organization, be it manufacturing, be it services, any sort of organization where they will have their order to cash process. That is where the cash flow generates, right? So it starts with the pre-sales activity, correct? You can see on your left hand side, and it starts with the contacts, and then contacts gets converted into quotation via the inquiry, and then there's a bunch of activity that sales agents perform. There's a real sales agent perform in the background, right? That's where once the quotation is sent to the respective party, the party accept. There will be lot many variations happens within the quotations, right? Whether it's a quotation to be revised for a multiple time, and then eventually that quotation gets converted into the form of order processing, correct? And that's where we say that it's order, the sales order that is being going to be created in your ERP, which is the Dynamics 365 ERP, right? But then once the sales order is being created, there are a bunch of other supply chain management related processes get triggers, which is nothing but your delivery, right? So you will have the requested ship date, and then that the material issued to the specific locations, where that location to be recorded against that particular sales order, and then that hits your stock account, right? That is where your inventory is going to be reduced. At the same time, there can be another scenario where the delivery can be transferred at in the form of the transfer orders, and then it will result into the account receivable. A third scenario could be you may have the delivery converted into shipment, as I mentioned earlier, and that will also result into your invoice, and then that your account receivable, which is your revenue, is going to be hit, right? That's how end-to-end any order cash processes work in any organization, right? So in today's world of AI and the agentic AI, I would say, where the sales order process is going to be more and more, the manual. But in tomorrow's world of AI agentic, that's where our presentation and the demo, that what if the sales order that is being automatically generated or being created in the Dynamics 365 ERP with the help of agent, right? So I can pass some instruction to agents, and that some instruction is nothing but my contextual thought process that I, as a sales persona, perform in my day-to-day activity, right? So I can ease out some of the mundane tasks that I typically do for sales order process creation, right? So that agent can do that heavy lifting activity, and I, as a agent or salesperson, can start focusing on day-to-day processes. Now, in terms of the business scenario, before we get into the demo, I would like to just lay down a structure how that the sales order received process works via email. Okay, I'll go a step by step, and then we will get into a demo where we will see a couple of scenarios, happy path scenario and the unhappy path scenario, and how the AI is the agent is designed, and we will perform the actions, and then towards the end, I will try to take any specific questions if any has, right? So again, many organizations, specifically in the retail world or distributing or B2B scenarios, they still receive the customers' purchase orders through email, right? It means the email that is coming from their customer as a purchase order, which is nothing but their sales order, right? Which receives via email, and that email could be maybe a email, any sort of email, or maybe it could be electronic interface, that is EDI portals, or maybe some sort of portal, also some sort of integrated system as well, right? But then typically what happens is, even though you have an EDI, even though you have an integrated system, it just takes the data, whether it's a form of XML, or whether it's a form of JSON, or any sort of formats of integration, and then it moves that information in a very static manner, right? For example, those folks coming from the integration background probably would understand that when we do an integration, we do a mapping of the source field with the target fields. We try to define the bunch of logic in terms of the validations, that if something is coming, okay, try to validate with my ERP data. If something is not matching, fail the workflow there, record the error somewhere in the, in the table, or maybe, some sort of the platform or the services from Azure, such as application insights. So it's a bunch of logic that we have to infuse in the integration world, right? And still, there can be many scenarios, might work, might not work, and then there is a recurring cost attached to it as and when any scenario comes in, right? But today's large language model worlds, where if I'm having the agents, how that agent is going to transform the information. So that is where the power of the large language model comes into picture, which is very, very good in terms of reading the understanding of that is coming inside the email, as well as inside the document that is inside the email. It could be Word, it could be PDF, it could be image, anything, and then try to read the information and put it into the right format, right? So those who are probably worked in the past, in earlier days, we used to use OCR technology to read the data from a specific PDF file or a specific, the image file. But since the large language model nowadays coming different models, right? So those models really help us to understand the PDF attachment and often try to generate the information into internal system. So that is where the customer sends a PO, which is nothing but your sales order, and that sales order as reflect as a PDF attachment, and then automatically start sending recording into the ERP system, right? And that is where the next set of activity happens, where I, as a sales coordinator, downloads a PDF, someone from sales or one of my department, or maybe customer service team, check the shared mailbox and download the file from read and detail, right? So it's pretty much standard and the manual stuff, right? Somebody has to go and look at that email every day morning, or maybe in a very specific interval check, and understand what that attachment is all about, and how that information can be imported or directly input into the ERP. So that's where we extract the data from manually. So the coordinator manually goes and look at each and every PDF based on the information that has been shared by their customers as part of the purchase order, which you need to record as a sales order, and validate a bunch of information, right? So that if you, as a sales order coordinator, needs to record a sales order, you have to have a basic information, right, in that particular PDF, such as the customer account, the purchase order numbers, or the order date, or request or ship date, or for that matter, respective quantities, prices, so on and so forth, right? So everything that is required for that material to be shipped to the specific location, what we have seen here in the earlier slide, right, as part of the shipment process. Then they enters the information as part of the sales order header, where pretty much common fields comes into the picture, and then they record respective lines inside the sales order form in the context of Dynamics 365 ERP, right? And then they typically type each and every line manually. For example, I need to enter the item number, I need to enter the quantity, I need to enter the price. If the price is not set up at the item master level or the trade agreement level, otherwise it will automatically come. And then definitely that information to be performed and validate correctly, right? Whether it's item availability, the credit limit check, or for that matter, pricing validation, because without having that, I cannot book an invoice my sales order against my customer who sends my purchase, who sends the purchase order. Otherwise, my credit limit check comes into picture, my delivery promise that comes, everything that's performed by that respective coordinator or sales team manually, right? And then they confirm the sales order and then send it back. Once the validation is done, then the system generates the confirmation report, which then email back to the customer. Okay, that look, this is what the purchase order that we have received from your side. This is what we validated data in terms of the item availability and everything. And then that's how we are recorded, and we are confirming your order. Look, this is what attachment of this particular order that we have booked in our system, and then now we are going to process that. So it's pretty much, right from receiving the email as part of the PDF, downloading PDF, validating the content, and then enter the information in the ERP, and then perform the validation manually, and then confirm the order either manually or by through a automated batch job within the Dynamics 365 ERP, right? But then what if all this entire process, right, that we have seen here, which actually reflect my business process here as part of the shipment, what if I fully automate that process with the help of sales order agent, right? It's going to be save lot many hours of mine in a day-to-day activity, so that I can focus on other tasks more on the strategic level, right? So that's where the agent concept comes into picture. If I go back to this particular slide deck, which is automated systems and works for a process and a company both. So we will see in action now as part of the demo. I hope everybody now understood the process here, because it is very important to understand the process before we dive deep into the application. So I'm here in my finance and operation app. I logged in here. I was just doing some sort of sanity check whether I'm ready or not with the process, and everything works perfectly fine or not, right? So this is a landing page for those folks, those are new to the Dynamics 365 ERP, and for those who are working for past couple of months and years in the Dynamics 365 ERP. So this is where I'm on a preview version of 10.0.46. Okay, and this is where I have enabled the immersive UI experience, because if you remember in the agenda, I mentioned the agent activity to be tracked, which is not a topic for today's demo, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse. This is where the workspace comes into picture, where we talk about the first party agents, which is account reconciliation agent, as well as the supplier communication agent as well. So these are the two use cases supplier communication agents works. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first walk you through the how I set up that agent. We'll start the journey with the Copilot Studio. Then I will switch the gear from Copilot Studio to the Power App solutions, because that is where this Power App solution comes into picture. And then after the Power App solution, I will run through the PDF that I have created, which has a bunch of information as a customer who sends a purchase order to me, and how I configured my mailbox to that particular agents to automatically read. And then we'll create then I will send out couple of emails. Email would be the happy path scenario, another email would be unhappy path scenario, and we will see how that agent understand the context as an attachment, and how it extract the information, how it fail not to extract the information when I'm dealing with unhappy path scenario. Okay, so right now I'm here in the page of Copilot Studio. I'll just quickly navigate to the home page of Copilot Studio. For those people, those who are new to the Copilot Studio, once you log in into Copilot Studio, you can see on the right hand side topmost corner the list of environments. I do have my default environment, and I do have my two supported environments that I have deployed for my research and development work, and for the community activities. So I have my first environment, which is Invoice FO, and as soon as I log in to navigating to agents, you can see a bunch of agents that has been available, in the Copilot Studio that I have created. I have deal with it. If you just navigate below down, then you would see a bunch of agents that Microsoft has given as part of agent template, right? So that you can learn from that agent context in the structures, the instructions, everything. Or maybe you want to use it, you can use it and tune it for your own purposes. Right? So as part of this, what I have done, I have created the agents. I'll just quickly search through it, and then I'll show I have imported as part of our activity and the demo that we plan. Right now, I have set this uh, model to be used for this agent as a GPT 4.0, but I have seen a good results when I move that model to the Sonnet 4.5. At this stage, this is disabled by admin. I cannot use it, but you can try if you have a specific access, you can try with the GPT-5 reasoning, deep reasoning capability as well. But I'm going to be going with the default 4.0 model. You can see here whatever ran that I did in the past last 7 days. It shows a good successful reason as well, right? So I'll just solution in the Power Apps area. Okay, so you can see here there are a bunch of triggers. First trigger is the dataverse, where that is where the informations are going to be added, modified, and uh, you know to be deleted. Then the second one, where that is where I have added my mailbox as a you can have your own shared mailbox as well. And then I also configure triggers where I set up a trigger in such a way that when a new email arrives, automatically my agents start reading the information from the PDF and start understanding the context. You can see the instructions over here. It's pretty much a standard, so that there should not be any chance of hallucinations, where the agent should not misbehave or misread any sort of information, because it's the business data, right? So the way instruction has been passed on to the agents, which is nothing but kindly please be helpful and polite, and this particular agent is going to be assist user in processing the orders into the finance and operation app, right? And if a user asked about any topic other than the sales order, politely decline, because the purpose of this agent is just to provide the instructions, understand the context in the form of the sales order. If someone is asking a question beyond this, please politely decline, right? Should not be rude while while replying the answers, if that is not in the context of sales order. At the same time, I also define this agent at the process of staging documents. I will show you how that staging document what it look like, because the agent's been designed in such a way that it reads the email. As soon as the email arrives, it reads the attachment and read the content of the attachment and pass that information to the staging information. That is where the Power App solution comes into picture, right? Where you can see the information that has been shared by my customers purchase orders in the form of purchase order, right? That is converting my sales order, and whether the information is right or not. That's where if I go back to the presentation slide, you can see the manual step that I mentioned in the scenario, right, which performs the manual validations. That is where all this validation happens in that model driven app that is been shipped by the fast track team here in the Power App solution. I'll walk you through in a bit maybe, but first we'll just understand the instructions so that you'll get a context how that agents read the data. And then once the validation process is correct, I already pass on the information that you will not reorder, skip the step. It means if the order has a 5 lines or a 10 lines, and one of the line is correct and the remaining lines are not right or maybe incorrect for some valid reason, please go ahead and and process with the one record, and then process it and keep the other records in a staging area for more details and for more modification, right? And then, but obvious, validate the customers by calling so and so customer. So it has added a capability to validate the customer as well, validate the product as well. It means if I just go back here, we already performed lot many checks here. Here also we manually extract the information, right? All this information try to help agent to perform in a very meticulous way, right? And then finally, once the information is validated successfully, then we have told agent to save that information in the sales order and call that sales order automatically. You probably would have wondered, right? What this is all about. This is where all these tools comes into picture, which is nothing but you can see here, which is nothing but I'll just go through the tools later, but which is nothing but your automatically once a sales order is created, then it is automatically send the emails. That instruction also been given to the agents, that automatically once the sales order is being created, they automatically send the notification so that everybody should get notified, right? So if I just talk about the tools, what we have seen here is a bunch of information that has been added, and if I just click on this tool, you will see the input that has been given dynamically filled by AI and the respective completion to that specific instruction as well. We can also navigate to that instruction by, navigating the bunch of information that has been added in this. Like for an example, this is one of the tool that we have seen, right, which actually creates the sales order. So this is again a unmanaged here. So you can see here automatic laws called the flow. As soon as the sales order received, get the information from database and get the line from database and automatically generate the lot of variables, download the files, and if the information right, then it creates a sales order here in the ERP. If it is failed, then it stop the information. And once the sales order is being created, then it also attaches the sales order to the respective attachment form of the sales order. So you can see the end-to-end journey of that information that agent is going to plan with the help of tools again. Okay. So now let's quickly switch the gear and understand the solution. So first and foremost, if you really want to get your hand dirty, you can see the solution by navigating into the GitHub library of Fast Track team, aka a.ms/sales order agents, and you will see a bunch of information. Go through it. You can download the solution. You can tweak the solution the way you want. I modify the solution, but if you just navigate to the sales order, agents try to understand this is where the sales order template agent comes into the picture. It has an AI model. You want to really play with it, go ahead and play with it. And as soon as you enter that information with the model, it also allows you to, install the app. That is where all apps comes into picture, sales order agent app. I have already opened this app, so you can click on this. It gives you the summary of this, and this is where I did a multiple run in the past, right? Where it allows you to record automatically the information that has been automatically sent by your customer as part of the purchase order, and then that automatically information can be seen here. Once you click on this, you will see all the lines that were part of the PDF file, and in that information you can see how many are failed, how many are succeeded, so on and so forth. So if I want to really see how many are failed and how many are succeeded, then I can just click on that. I can see the entire sales order got processed, failed. But if I just a little bit down, I can see only one of the record is processed, right? I'll show you this action again, but just wanted to understand this is a place where you can correct the information. Say for example, if you're a customer while sending purchase order as part of the resulting into sales order, if they share the incorrect the product code, this is where the ability that you get to correct the product code here, and then you can reprocess that information by saving this, come back here, and then change the status and process it again. It's automatically allow you to generate the order. So just a quick recap. We just talked about how the agent is set up. We also talk about the Power Apps solution. We also talk about from where you can download these agents, and we also saw how that agent you're going to set up in the particular in the Power Automate. Right now we'll try to execute a bunch of scenarios here. Right, one of the scenarios that I talked about, we will start with the unhappy part scenario first, and then we will towards the end we will see the happy part scenario as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open. So I have created a simple PDF document. Okay. Now this document is nothing but the customer, supplier is going to send as a purchase order, and I also define the email address, which is my shared mailbox, right, against which I will receive the email from this customer who sends as a purchase order, right? There are a bunch of other informations, payment terms, the delivery mode, the requested ship date, and respective site and the warehouse that I would like to have. I do have a bunch of items already added here, which is shared by my customer as part of the purchase order, and requesting me to have that autonomously create the sales order in my customer, which is a contest or retail San Diego. So what I'm going to do, I already created this particular Word document in the form of PDF. As I mentioned in the PDF, the email that I'm going to get from my personal email address, but in a real life world, this would be your customer who actually sends a purchase order and trying to be converted as a sales order in your scenario, and they will send an email to this email address, which is configured as part of my agent. One of the action that we have seen, right, when the new email arrives, that is where this email comes into the picture. So I already opened a couple of blank new email. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach that particular PDF file. So you can see I already created a bunch of PDF file. One of the PDF file is happy path, but we'll start with the unhappy path scenario. I'm going to attach this, and the mailbox that I'm clip notes, I'm going to mention the new sales order demo for AI powered order to cash scenario. Okay, I can have hello on. So here is the attached sales order PDF file for your reference and validation. Do let us know in case of any changes are required. Okay, and I'll mention the name of my supplier, which is sending as a keyword, right, which I need to result into this, which is fabric, and I'll just copy and paste name here. Don't get confused about my email address. This email address I just use, but typically this is what the scenario is, right? So I'm going to send this email now. As soon as I send the email, the way I configured the email has triggered the email arrives. I can track the activity of the agents in the activity tab, or we can also go back and check the Power Automate flow as well. Now I'm going to open the mailbox. You can see automatically that email that I have received here from my Fabricom supplier email address to the address where this is the address, right, where I have configured the mailbox, correct? So I have received the email. It means my agent is now going to be triggered autonomously in the background. I'll just quickly check. Now start passing the information. So rather than having and validating in the Copilot Studio, I do have my staging applications. I just try to process. You can see the unhappy path business scenario, the file that I uploaded, right, started arriving here, and the processing status of all the line items are new. So I'll just quickly refresh. We'll just give a minute or so and see how that information processing. So it started validating the content autonomously in the background based on the instruction, right, that we have in the instruction tab here. We'll just try to go back here, and I'll just click on this. We'll wait here for ERP sales order number. Although it has bunch of information, the company code and customer numbers, it automatically reads that because I already specified the numbers as a customer name, right? So it automatically took the customer ID based on the Contaso Retail San Diego. I'll just try to refresh until it gets processed correctly, and then we'll wait. Oh, it failed. You can see here, let's go back to the main page. This is the one that we process, right? And it generated a sales order that's 987, but it has how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? I'll just go back and open the PDF. It has 5 lines, and only first line, which is 1000 product code, and it also send an email as attention. Now, how come this email got generated automatically? If I just go back to the sales order instruction, you can see when the sales order is saved in the ERP, sends a notification about the sales order, and that notification will call nice information. Not only just the information, but also the idea of something is failed, right? So that's where something is failed. You can see that notification here. Something is failed. If I can also click on this and navigate to page, but rather I would stick to here in stage happen why this particular information is failed, right? So you can see here it failed, processing failed, product dimensions, everything is failed. So only the item called 1000 got processed and the sales order number is 987. So first we'll go back and check whether the sales order is really got created for that 87. There you go. So sales order is automatically created based on agent's instructions and it has only line item 1000. So I'll go back to the header line. I'll navigate to the delivery tab. You can see here the requested ship date and requested receipt date automatically saved as a 1st of December. Why? Because in the PDF file, I had given instruction that the 1st of December would be requested ship date, and in my Copilot here, that read the information each and every step and creates the data of a sales order header and sales order line. So it automatically understand the instruction that has been given to the agents and reads the data. Similarly, it also try to read the information that you need. Probably I'll stick to only the instruction of the requested ship date here, but you can have your own fields. You can go ahead and customize, the way you want. But the idea is to give you the thought process of how that agent can read. So you can see now only one item got created. I'll go back and check what happened with the other items. So I'll go inside this. The moment I go inside this, I can also see the PDF attached here. I can see the entire JSON of that file in case someone really wants to understand. And processing fail. In the processing fail, we have seen something is not working. I just double click on that item, which is a writing that record into a respective data entity, because I'll just take the copy and paste. I'll put it in a notepad. Check the notepad. Okay, I'll just check what is the error. So error is what? Okay, inventory dimension site is mandatory and must be consequently specified. It means for this particular item, the inventory dimension was missing in my setup or a parameter, right? Therefore, it could not able to read the entire order. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fulfill that order, right? So I have two choices. Either I can go back to the product information management, my release product. I'll go one by one. Let me open side by side. This is the second one. I'll select this. I'll go to the default order setting because I want automatically generated. I'll go back and check the default site as a 1 and the default warehouse as a 11. I'll save this. I'll come out from this. I'll take another one, 8002. Just bear with me. We'll take few seconds to update the information. Or maybe I'll take 21 and save this. And we'll take T001 as well. And select this. I'll go to the. I can see we are already on top of the R. So I'll go back and change this one because it failed earlier. It was having some issue. And then I'll process this. And then I'll process this as well. Probably I will change the others as well. I think that might be the case. Earlier one failed. So I'll take this one again. Go back here. default setting. I change to my default one in order to avoid any error again, as it is a dummy data of contrast. So now I'm done, right? So what I can do, I do have two choices. Either I can go back, and go here and whatever the information that got processed as an unhappy path scenario, I can just see and go back and change the validated again, and automatically the agent will try to process that and see. Or sorry, or maybe I can go inside this and I can write another email with the proper information, and then automatically it will read the information, right? So let it be here. While it is processing in the background, I will shoot out another email with the correction of this. So I will go back here. I will attach the PDF again. I'll write the email to my email address, and I'll say new sales order with correction in Dynamic 365 ERP. Default order setting. Let it go. So we just wait for a second. We'll wait for 2 seconds. That sales order number to be generated, and then I think we have 5 minutes more. So maybe I'll just try to cover another happy path scenario if this works. So let's wait for a second. It is still processing. Start coming now as a new validated. We'll have to wait until the sales order number gets generated. Okay, while this is processing, any questions, Jiva and Dharmi from the audience?
I have not seen any question from the people. Guys, like if you are watching, like if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat window.
There you go. So it's still processing. One got successfully processed, another is failed. It means still there are some issues. We'll go back and check. Okay, so another order got generated 988, but then it again failed. So we'll go inside this and try to see what went wrong here in this message. So you can see the goods in transit warehouse 11GT can only be used in transit order. It means the warehouse that I enabled for this A002 was wrongly added. So this is what a scenario that we have seen, that how it autonomously read the information, how it automatically validate the information, what we have seen here in the process, and it also record the track of each and every activity. Okay. Now I'll just quickly cover the last scenario, which is the happy path scenario. Okay. I'll just open the another window here, and I'll go back and attach the happy path scenario. Let me open this particular PDF as well so that everybody can see that PDF. So you can see here, this is a simple scenario. Everything is configured correctly, right? So I'll just minimize this. I'll close this and we will process this scenario. I mention happy path scenario, demo presentation, sales order, processing agent. Okay. Now let's wait for an automatic email to be received here. Yeah. So it received to that particular mailbox. We just try to refresh. It will start appearing as a new as a processing status because everything looks okay. I already validated my data is correctly configured. So it takes few seconds. So while it is coming, I just wanted to quickly run through that. You can see a couple of things also I did as a manual review, and then it will automatically process, right? So once I'm done with the review, it will take the information and put it into a respective thing, and then that sales order is going to be updated all my process, right? Because I'm okay with the manual review, which failed earlier. Okay, so I'm done with the review. Let's refresh the one. Okay, now you can see the one which I processed just now, which is the validated one. We'll wait for the particular sales order number to be generated. We'll wait for maybe few seconds. Sometimes it takes few seconds. Okay, there you go. So we got this sales order number. I'll just go back to the account receivable page, sales order, try to search, go inside this. You can see the sales order header and line got automatically created. If I navigate to the delivery date, is also automatically set. That's pretty much standard, right? So I'll just quickly go back and open the PDF for you. There you go. So you can see payment term, requested date, site, and warehouse, right? And if I go inside here, you can see the payment term is a 10, which I already set here. Also my request received date. So that's how we have seen the unhappy path scenario and how you can correct that unhappy path scenario in this stage area before you process it, and automatically agents start processing in the background, and also the happy path scenario. So I'll take a pause if anyone has any questions, doubts, and all. I think I already shared that you can download this agent copy if you really want to go through and understand it. And if you need more understanding or more question, please feel to reach out to me my LinkedIn handle as well. I'll take a pause. Dharani and Jiva, any specific questions? Happy to take now. I know we are overshoot by 10 minutes as we planned earlier.
Good, Rakesh. I have not seen any question from the audience. So all good. What I will do is I will put your the LinkedIn URL in the comment as well. And if any questions are there, then I will ask you to get in touch with you, Rakesh.
Perfect. No problem.
All good.
I think top message. Yeah.
Thank you once again, Rakesh, for accepting our invitation and presenting today in our user group. And it was a really grateful, wonderful session. The knowledge sharing you have presented lots and lots of content today. So I hope people would have grasped a good amount of content from your session. Thank you so much for presenting today.
No, thank you, Dharani, for having me, and thank you, Jiva. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rakesh, and thanks everyone for joining today. So we will meet you in our next meetup session. Thanks once again. Thanks all. Cheers. Bye.